You're listening to the New World to Go podcast with your hosts, Redbyrd and BDLG.
Hello and welcome to another episode of New World to Go. I'm your host, Redbyrd, and with me is BDLG. Bordy, how you doing tonight, brother?
Yo, what's up, dude? I'm doing good, man. It feels good to be back. This every other week cadence we have going on is a little weird, man, to be honest. It seems like I don't know, man. It just seems like forever. I'm so used to doing this once a week. It's odd.
It is a little weird, man, especially when something happens. You kind of want to, just get on and talk about New World. So we have some stuff to talk about for sure today, or tonight, or whatever this is for you. We had a density test that New World put out. That would have been a week ago now, as players got to get their first look at the game and its current state. And there was a lot of positive feedback, Bordy. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. We have an upcoming event also at the end of August, the preview event that they're going to let anybody who has pre-ordered the game or has signed up to test the game in. So that's going to be really exciting. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, or more about that tonight. And then they recently posted a Reddit post about the NDA and the preview event and what that's going to look like. So we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end of the show. So, Bordy, recently, New World did a density test to kind of test the servers or how they would be stressed with a larger player base than the one that was in alpha. And so let's talk a little bit about how that went and your experience in there first, Bordy. Did you get into the density test?
Yeah, I did, man. I played just a little bit. I didn't spend a ton of time in there because I've already played so much of the alpha prior to that it wasn't anything different, but I wanted to see what was going on and what was happening with the density test. And dude, I got on there and the queues were so insanely long. So I checked Steam to see how many players were on. There were like 30,000 players on there at one point in time for a density test. I thought that was insane, man. That was pretty encouraging to me. But then I got on and I did play a little bit, and the experience I had was fine. There's a lot of people in there, and the game ran fine, and I had a good time. I probably only played the density test for 3 to 4 hours, but I didn't have any issues, and all was well, except for waiting in a queue forever. But that was cool though, because there were so many people interested. So yeah, overall I thought it went well. Now on their end, how it went in terms of performance and whatever, who knows? I hope they got some good feedback and some good data from all of that.
Yeah. It seemed like there were a ton of people in there. Of course, we have a community in our Discord, so we get to see a lot of people that there was their first time testing or playing the game. So it's pretty exciting to see them experience the game and their feedback and what they thought of the game. Obviously, Twitter was rampant with positive feedback on there. So it's kind of cool to see, again, just different people who were giving their opinion, because I think as alpha testers, you kind of get locked in there and you're testing and kind of experiencing the whole game. And we had quite a long time in the alpha to test and to provide feedback and, experience the overall game loops and everything like that. So it's kind of cool to see this fresh take on the game that these people had. We had a lot of new or a lot of increased traffic over at Studio Loot and New World fans. Specifically, so it's kind of cool to see those metrics as well, seeing what guides people were using and what they were kind of leaning to as far as information goes. So that was cool too. And I think overall, I didn't spend a lot of time in there. Of course, me and you had played quite a bit of the game at that point, and they hadn't changed a whole lot between that and the density test. So I did get in there, try it out, test a little bit of the servers and what it looked like with a crazy amount of people playing. I mean, they had a lot of servers up, Bordy. I kind of lost track of how many they actually put up. It started with a certain number, and they doubled it, and I think they doubled it again even at that point, and it was pretty crazy to see, like you said, that burst of population.
Yeah, for sure. It was awesome, man. Whenever I logged in for the first time and I was able to get in and I was on the beach, dude, there were people everywhere. And that was an awesome feeling because previously, whenever we were in the alpha, it wasn't so much like that because it was alpha. But then this density test, when they just let the floodgates were open, and there were so many people running around on the beaches, and it was really cool. It was a cool experience, man.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to the preview event. And we can that'll pivot us in there, man. So the preview event at the end of August will allow those people that tested the density or did the density test, obviously, and even more people that pre-ordered the game into this preview event. Now, it's going to be basically what they've appears to be anyways, the same version of the game that the density test was and the one that we've been testing in alpha. But it's good. They're going to give us a week to play it and kind of give a little bit of service to the fans that were kind of, we're looking forward to playing this game. And because of the delay, didn't get to. This is about the time, I guess, the game would have launched, right, Bordy?
Yep, it should be, man. We should be gearing up for a launch pretty soon, and instead we're going to be playing a preview event. But at least we get the preview event, man. At least we get that. And I hope that they end up opening it up for longer than a week. I'm hoping that they extend it maybe for another week. So hopefully we'll get like 2 weeks out of the deal. That'd be pretty dope. But who knows? That
would be awesome. We're looking forward to playing with you guys. Don't forget to join our Discord channel, the Studio Loot Discord channel. We got a new Studio Loot Twitter. So we're trying to roll forward, build up a community around this game, obviously, and we do have a look like I think we popped 300 quite a bit ago. So we have a lot of people in there to play with, to group up with, and we're planning on rolling deep into the preview event for sure.
Yeah, I think so. That'll be the first time that we actually get to spend some time in game with people. During the density test, some people were in there, but everybody was so scattered across servers because they were just trying to get in a server they could get in, right? So a lot of people in our Discord were kind of like moving around on servers and not getting on the same server because one of them had like a 10-hour queue or something, so they just kind of had to move around so they could get a taste of the game. So I'm excited for this upcoming preview for that reason, man, to be able to get in there and play with everyone and see what they think about it. And everybody has already given a lot of good feedback, I think, to the game. I think from what I've seen, Red, everything I've seen from the density test was pretty positive so far from all of the feedback that I've seen out there publicly.
Yeah, for sure. What your mention was good. I think a lot of people got divided up because what had happened is everybody rushed to try to get in the game in the server, and then all the servers were like completely full, and so they opened up more, and so then we had the people like, I don't want to wait in queue for 2,000 people. I'm gonna go ahead and hop in one of the new ones, and we did get divided. So that was good to mention because I think a lot of people's experience in that category was pretty much the same. They did eventually get that figured out and get the population to where all the servers were, running without much queue time. But that was a little bit of an issue. What was your initial question? I don't even remember now. I was just trying to make sure you knew that you made a valid point. I try to encourage you with positivity occasionally to make sure.
You're just all off track, man. I don't know. Man, you're struggling tonight, dude.
What are you talking about, dude? I'm on point. We're talking about the density test. And now I was trying to talk about the preview event.
I know, but I kind of tied it together, so that's my bad. I confused you a little bit there.
Yeah. Don't do that, okay?
Yo, dude, it doesn't take much, man. You can't put that on me.
Hey, man, we've been working together for a while now. You should know, the situation you're working with. It's called situational awareness, Bordy.
True. I like that. I need to get better, I guess.
Yeah. I'll forgive you this time. But yeah, so the preview event's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to get to play with our guild. Anybody that wants to play with us, come join the Discord. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If you're listening to this podcast, join the Discord. We want to play New World with you this upcoming. Well, it's almost 2 weeks away now at this point. So it's coming up real quick. It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it starts on the 25th. I think we'll only have one more episode before then. So I think we'll have an episode right before the density test starts, huh? The 23rd, because today's the 9th. Yeah, so
that is correct.
So yeah, man. I hope they drop some kind of news between now and then, dude, because this is all we have to talk about right now is the upcoming test, which I wonder what they're working on behind the scenes, Red. Do you think that they're working on stuff for the upcoming preview event at all, or do you think they're working on future stuff? I would imagine that the preview event is what it is. Like they have a build for that. And then now they've moved on to another build for what they're working on for the actual game.
Yes. I mean, that's the thing is I personally think they're not working on it. Whatever we played in the alpha and in the density test, that's the version of the game we're going to get in the preview.
Yeah,
I hope to goodness they're working on other things. Just for the fact that 10 months in game development time, if they're wanting to load this game up with content and make it more of like a, an open world theme park type game, or what do they call it? And there's some kind of hybrid term for it now. But anyways, if they're trying to make more features for in-game and things to do and ways to progress in that game, then I I hope that they're working on that because, I want to see this game do well. Obviously, Bordy, I think both of us do. I think a lot of people listening to this podcast do. And they obviously feel like, as the developers, that this game needs a lot more work. 10 months is quite a delay, especially when initially we only saw a 2-month delay.
Yeah.
And so, obviously their feelings are a lot, that this game needs a lot of work. So I hope they're able to get on that path and work together through this trying time of, being in and out of isolation. And hopefully they can add some things to this game that tie it together, that make it that game, the vision that they have for the game. And, we talked a little bit on a previous episode, and how sometimes that can get lost, the vision of the game of the developers, and kind of you get tied up in feedback, and then, you make like a lukewarm game or a washed down game that no one really enjoys because it's not really going towards any type of vision or direction.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I hope that they are, I hope they're working on something else. Yeah, I get the same feeling, and I hope that they're working on something else at this point and not putting time and effort into what's about to happen at this preview event. I think what they had before during the alpha was good enough and playable enough for people to play for a week or two or whatever. And then for those people to come away with a positive attitude and a positive outlook on the game. Because it doesn't give those people enough time to really get in there and see the lack of content that they're so worried about. Because that's what they've said, is that they're worried about there being a lack of mid to in-game content. So the week or whatever, that's why, earlier I mentioned I hope they extend it. I'm not so sure that they will, to be perfectly honest, because I don't know that they want people to get so in-depth in the game and so involved that they want to cut that short so that their experience is amazing. Because initially you see the combat, you see the environment, and those are the things we've harped on for so long that are so good about the game. And that's what they want people to experience, right? They don't want to get people in there and them realize there's a lack of content and then them go bash the game on social media. I think they'd rather have them go into the game, experience a little taste of it, and then want more and more and more. And I think that's probably why we're only going to get, a week at most.
Yes. And there was a ton of positive feedback, again, from the density tests. And I think they're going for that. They're giving people just enough to get kind of hungry for a new MMO. And to kind of see, again, some of the things we pointed out in previous episodes that the strengths of New World were, which are the combat, the uniqueness of the combat, and the environment, Aternum, being a pretty different setting than we're used to in most MMOs. And this is going to give everybody a taste of that, but not give them everything, which I think, like you said, kind of builds hype, which is, obviously what this preview event's meant to do. To keep the hype train going as they kind of push through this delay.
Yeah, you know what else I think keeps the hype train going, Red, is whenever you release the NDA and you let people stream the game as they update it. And then as you see the game getting better, you can hype it up. Yeah,
that's a great point, Bordy, and that moves on to our next topic. There was a post on Reddit about the NDA and whether or not it would be lifted. Now, New World made an official comment about how during the event, the NDA would be lifted, but there would be some certain specifications that would need to be addressed before the event occurred to make sure that different types of media were still still meeting their requirements. And then they went on to say that there would still be an NDA on all of the alpha content. So, Bordy, this is a pretty confusing message that they sent out to everybody. What do you kind of take? What is your take on this no NDA, NDA? Because there's a lot of people that want to create content around this game, and so I think we're all kind of waiting to see what their initial or their final judgment on this is going to be.
Yeah. So in my opinion, I'm just going to be real blunt, man. This whole thing is silly. Okay. It's silly. I understand creating a game that you want under NDA and you don't want shared. I get that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. But at this point, what they're doing now is they're saying that the preview event is not confidential. However, the alpha content before the preview event is confidential. Like, that makes absolutely zero sense, man. Like, why? Why can we not talk about the alpha after everybody's already seen the preview event? That is absolutely ridiculous to me. I don't understand that. So they're also saying that they're discouraging people from creating long-term assets like wikis and guides that may not reflect the game when it launches. I understand that to an extent, but it's like, man, at this point, if you're going to give people a week to go in there and view the game, I don't understand why there's an NDA on that content. Like they're putting an NDA on the stuff that they're saying is not confidential almost, which is, I don't know. It's incredibly confusing, man. What they need to do is just say no NDA from this point previous, and then anybody from this point going forward for the alpha is under NDA if they still want to have an NDA for that. I don't get it, man. I really don't. I don't understand it at all.
Okay, dude. It's sort of like, and we spoke a little bit about this before. It seems like they're going to give us a new version of the game that no one's seen and that we can't talk about anything that we've seen prior to this testing. You know what I mean? You kind of get that vibe like, oh, you're going to see something new that no one's seen, and that's fine to talk about, but no one can talk about any of the alpha testing that occurred before this moment, right? But I think we're both on the same page that we're not going to get something different than the alpha that we've seen before. So it's kind of, I don't know, man. It's confusing.
I don't understand either. And why would they? So for the preview event, in my mind, unless they have something new to show everybody for the preview event that they want unveiled or whatever, so people can get some hype built up. Well, I don't see that happening though, man. I don't know. It's incredibly confusing. And as a content creator, I can tell you, and you too, it's kind of frustrating, man. It's a bit frustrating. And this has been happening almost since day one. This type of like confusing policies surrounding the NDA and what can and cannot be shared it's kind of a little bit confusing, man. I get an NDA. I'm all for it because sometimes you want testing without releasing stuff because then that can be negative press for your game. I understand that, but I don't know, the way they write these things and the way these things come down the pipe is incredibly confusing for players and for the content creators, for the community, and from my standpoint. Okay, your content creators this day and age for video games are incredibly important for your game because those are the people that are actually invested in the game, playing the game, and then sharing their experiences in the game. Those are the people that are out there basically being free advertisement and selling your game. So you need to treat those people with a little bit more openness and transparency. And they I think they've kind of done a poor job in that area, in my opinion. And I hope that that gets better as time goes on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, here's the thing, and everybody's going to say that we're biased, and we are a little bit. We're both content creators. You probably recognize that by listening to a podcast with our voices on it. We also do a lot of YouTube and Twitch work, and I think 2020, and this is what's crazy, Bordy, we're talking about Amazon here. We're talking about the people that own Twitch, the largest live broadcasting platform in the world right now. You know what I mean? You would think that they would recognize the value of having this hype or this progressive attention to the game. Now, I can understand because they are putting new stuff out and this stuff requires testing and feedback and everything like that, that from the live preview event to the actual release, that there needs to be some secrecy and some NDA stuff. I get that 100%. And they are making a lot of changes to the game. But here's the thing is, when you have an event like this to show your stuff to the public, I think the idea would be to create hype, which by, one of the reasons one of the ways you can do that is allow your content creators to produce new content to keep people interested in the game, to keep people, moving on or like keeping those channels active because, content creation is something that people dedicate time to because they enjoy the game or they're interested in the game that you're making. So you would think that they would want that.
You would think so, man. So let me ask you this too. Do you think that we'll get any kind of Twitch drops or any kind of hype around this week-long event for streamers to come on here and stream? Because in my mind, Amazon and Twitch go hand in hand, just like you mentioned before. So it seems like they would be hyping up this week-long event and pulling in streamers to try to stream their game, just like Ashes of Creation has been doing. They should probably take a page out of that book. I hate to keep comparing, but my goodness, the dude is on top of his game over there. So it's like you would think they would really hype it up and then bring it over to Twitch for the week or however long this preview event is going to be, and then give us some Twitch drops, man. Give us some Twitch drops associated with this stuff and build up some hype around the game and give people a reason to watch the game on Twitch and get some hype going. I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening here, man. Like I don't get it. But hey, I'm not in there. I'm just a guy talking, on the outside, just like everyone else. I'm just a player giving my opinion. But from the outside looking in, it just is weird. That's all I'm saying. It's just a little weird. I would like to see the game built up and a lot of hype around the game because I think the game's going to be good, and I want it to be good. I want it to be awesome, and I just don't see like the I don't know, man. I don't see them putting themselves out there. It's almost like they're too scared to or something. Like they're scared of the negative feedback or something, and that's just not a good thing in my opinion.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, yeah, they can throw us a little. I feel like a little bit of a pet, or maybe like a skin, or maybe just an item in your house. A little thing, a little plaque they hang in your house that says you were there during the preview event of August 25th or something. Some kind of
something.
Yeah, some kind of little housing. I think that would be not too much to ask for, especially just to reward the people for sticking with you through these delays and everything like that. Personally, Bordy and me and you, we like to be truthful about things. We like to be open with our audience and everything like that, and Penguin makes a good point in chat. A lot of this just seems like, they recognized at that point that the game was not ready and it didn't have enough content, and they want to be as closed-doored about that as possible. And, at this point, it's hard to argue against that. It's hard to argue against that point that, that the game simply just wasn't done. And I think that's, that's the case that we have here. And we both really hope we played a lot of the game. We played it a lot of time in alpha. We enjoyed the combat, the world. I just hope that they can provide that content that they're looking for that can keep people enthralled with the game.
Yeah, me too. I have massive faith in this game. I think it's going to be good because the core gameplay is amazing. It's unlike anything I've ever played in an MMO. But man, they sure are doing it. It's a bad look. Their community management side just hasn't been very, very good, right? Like they did a complete 180 with their game. They changed things up so much, and then this is the second delay, and things just aren't going well on that front. And it's like, man, give us a little bit more transparency, as to what's going on. Not that you owe us that, but in this day and age in 2020, players do expect that, regardless of if you owe us that or not, which I don't think these companies owe us anything, especially not New World, because it's not a it's not a Kickstarted game. It's completely funded by them. So they don't owe us anything at all. But in 2020, with the way things are, with the way social media is, with the way Reddit is, with the way all these outlets are, these easy outlets to push out information about your game, it would just seem like there would be a little bit more transparency from them, because that's kind of the norm in the industry now too, is like almost, a lot of transparency with what's going on. And we just haven't really seen that a lot. And I think that's part of the problem here. And I think that's why people are getting a little bitter. And I think if you took a poll of 1,000 MMO players and you said, hey, would you rather a game release on X date, or would you rather than push it back and have a very much better finished product? They would say, most MMO players would probably say, let's push it back so we can get a better product on release. But they want to know that though, right? They don't want to feel slighted. And I think the community right now may be feeling a little bit slighted. And dude, I want them to overcome it, because this game, man, it could be something amazing. It really could.
Yeah, that's the challenge, man, is they don't owe us anything. Obviously, the game is not crowdfunded, so they don't have backers that they need to like let in and please and all that stuff. So that can be a positive thing, obviously, because, I think sometimes people get carried away with the crowdfunding and I'm not going to name any names, but the games get delayed and they shoot for a alpha date even and a beta date, and they never deliver on those times, and people feel very invested in those games. And me and you both, we've fallen victim to that before. I am, admittedly a victim of EverQuest Next. I spent a lot of time into that game and some money involved in there, hoping that I would get to play the next EverQuest, and it didn't happen. So, they're not under any kind of like situation like that. But like you said, I think in 2020, it's okay to throw your audience a bone with something like this.
For sure.
I think
I just want to make it clear. I am a massive fan of New World. All right. I'm not trying to be bitter. I am a massive fan of this game, and I think it's going to be amazing. It's just a lot of people in the community are getting rubbed the wrong way for everything that's happening,
Right. And I think this, they have an opportunity here in the August preview event to get the faith of the community back in their direction, to show them the game. Because I do really stand by, the fact that the game is fun to play. The game has a good a nice environment, like a very unique feel, Aternum does. And I think people are going to really enjoy that. And I'll be excited to see more positive feedback in those circumstances for sure. But as a development company, and this is technically their first game, I would like to see them reach out to content creators like us and help start building relationships, start letting us, help you build hype up again. And I think that the way that works is you do kind of allow people to, certain guidelines underneath the NDA. I know you don't want everything shown under the curtain or under the hood or whatever you want to call it, but I do think it's okay to, kind of like they're doing in the developers, articles that they're putting out before, show us some stuff you're working on and the processes in that. We're all interested in that. We all want to stay informed and involved with this game because a lot of people want to see your game succeed.
Yeah. What about dev live streams? Have they ever done that?
I don't think so, which is weird.
That's what's I think really confusing to me, man, is they're not utilizing Twitch at all in terms of providing drops and providing hype for their game. I mean, dude, they could be doing dev live streams and pumping that up and putting it on the front page of Twitch and then having these drops that happen and just, dude, their marketing could be insane with the power of Twitch, and it's not happening. And I'm so confused by why not. I don't understand that part of it.
Yeah. Now that you said that, my mind's kind of blown a little bit because you would think, it's just odd, dude. I know that they're not directly tied to, and we probably sound stupid sitting here thinking like, oh, it's Twitch or, because obviously they're not. They're like they're a division of Amazon called Amazon Games, and, their relationship is beknownst to us, right? We have no freaking clue what their, direct relationship to Twitch or anything is like that. But you would think underneath the company umbrella lies a massive marketing tool. You would think that they would be utilizing that more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the relationship is not like directly connected or anything. I'm sure they're completely separate things without a doubt. But I mean, you would think that if anybody's going to utilize the Twitch platform, it would be Amazon Game Studios. I mean, that just kind of makes sense in my mind. But you're right, we don't know what the relationship is, and maybe they, are completely out of touch with one another. I don't know, but it doesn't look good from a community standpoint, though. You know what I mean? Because I guarantee you, we're not the only people who have thought this.
Yeah, that's probably never the case, to be completely honest with you, Bordy. I mean, I'll speak for myself. I'm not, the sharpest tool in the drawer, so I can't pretend. I can't pretend like, I'm thinking of some genius idea by saying they should utilize Twitch. That's for sure. I think, my mom has thought about that at this point. So, yeah. And, Mrs. Wainscott, she's a saint. I don't want to say anything bad about her, but, she's also 60. So, anyways, well, that's going to tie up our episode. A nice note to end on, talking about my mom on a podcast. I'm sure she doesn't listen, so it'll be fine. I'll make sure to know that I'll let her know that I mentioned her name in the podcast. Maybe she'll listen finally. Yeah. Bordy, where can people find you on the internet?
Oh man, dude, your mom doesn't listen to the podcast, man. Mine does every episode.
Really?
No, she has no idea what a podcast is. So
I was about to call my mom out, dude. I was gonna be like, you know, Bordy's mom listens to the podcast and you don't. What's up with that?
All right. So you can find me over at Twitch or Twitter. Twitter is at the BDLG. Twitch is twitch.tv/BDLG. YouTube is youtube.com/the BDLG. And then, of course, creating content over at studioloot.com. And then, of course, on newworldfans.com. And then we have a whole umbrella of games over there at studioloot.com. So go check that out. And we're, pumping out content on the regular, man. YouTube videos, Twitch content, streams, written guides, all that good stuff. So go check it out over at studioloot.com.
Yes, and I'm Redbird with Y. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, or Twitch and YouTube with the same name. Twitter, you can find me at I am Redbird. We got a new Studio Loot account on Twitter. We are now pushing all of our notifications from our 2 podcasts, from all our website content through that Twitter, because we're 3 people, but we have trouble managing 1 account. So we're going to push it all to 1 account. And so you guys will get live updates on everything Studio Loot, including the podcast over there. So make sure to follow that. We'll have the link in the show notes below if you're listening to YouTube or listening to this on iTunes. So check that out. Follow that for more notifications when we go live on Twitch, when we're recording, as well as when the episodes go live for you guys on YouTube. We're very grateful for you guys hanging with us, sticking with us through these delay times. The next time we'll be talking to you, we'll be a couple days away from this preview event, so it'll be exciting to get in your ears again and kind of talk about the hype building up around that event. Maybe we'll hear something new, Bordy. Maybe we'll hear something new about the game.
I sure hope so.
And then. Or next episode, we will dedicate completely to our moms and why they don't listen to our content that we do. So that should be a great
long episode, man.
Man, that might be like some kind of therapy session for both of us, We will talk about New World, we promise. Until next time, guys, have a great night and a good tomorrow, and we will see you on the next episode of New World to Go.